All right. Well, once again, good morning, everyone. This is Brian. We're here for Forex Live. Today is Tuesday, January 7th. Starting off the new year right, ready to jump back into this. We've had kind of a lull for the last few weeks. We've taken some time off, and now we're ready to jump back in, refreshed, and ready for the new year to start. Forex Joe's here with us as well, so he'll be on here in just a little bit. What we're going to do today, the agenda, as per normal, is to go through how we trade using the daily regimen in Forex Joe's methodology. So what we'll have open today, we should all have our trading terminal open. At a minimum, have your Euro USD, the Pound USD, and the US Yen. Those will be the three pairs that we walk through today for the system. Obviously, you can trade any number of pairs or any pairs that you choose. It's totally up to you. Those are the three that I like to trade for this for our class. So those are the ones we'll have open. You should have your charts set up with the 21st century Forex trader executables, the EAs. So there's a few different ones to choose from. When you go to your templates, you can choose from FTT pending order or pending order pro, either one. The FTT pending order software gives us these thermal grids that you're seeing here. The other does not. It does not give you the sessions and the thermal grids. It's a cleaner looking chart. So depends on what suits you. The key though is to have the software that allows us to set our buys and our sells with the red and green lines. So we should have that open. The second thing that we should have open is a news source. And I like to use Forex Factory. We can use just about anything out there. Just want to know what news is coming up and any potential pitfalls that we should be aware of so that we can plan our trading day around that. Then, of course, we should have open our trade alerts, our trading report, our daily report, and lastly, our daily trading regimen for live trading. And this is what we'll be following through today. You can print this out. It's in your members area. From your members area, you can access it through the Downloads tab on Forex Live on the Schedule tab. It exists there. You can download it as either a PDF or a Word document, and even on the Downloads tab under Forex Live. So you can get that a few different places. Just be sure you have it up. It's our checklist, and we use that checklist so that we're able to have a consistent approach day in, day out when we come into the marketplace. And that consistency is key. No matter what you're doing, consistency is key. Without a consistent approach, you don't really have measurable results at that point. If you're approaching something consistently the same way every single time you enter the marketplace and you're not getting the results that you want, then that at least you can go back and look at your method and say, okay, what's working, what's not working, and you can make tweaks as necessary. So those are things we'll have open. Before we start trading, I do need to let you know that unique experiences and past performances do not guarantee future results. I think everyone on the call already understands this, but just for to appease the legalese side of things, that we need to put this up, let you know that trading involves risk. If we didn't already know that, trading involves risk. Should only be using risk capital if you're taking out a loan to trade, and somebody's going to come for your thumbs, your kneecaps if you don't pay them at the end of the month. You're probably not going to make a great trading decision. You're going to be forcing trades and making decisions that are outside of the scope of what it takes to trade conservatively. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to place trades that are, conservative, manage our risk, and as we manage our risk, the rest follows along as it needs to. So, enough about that. Take that off. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Looking today, we'll start with the Euro USD, and what we'll be going through is basically this chart. Still, even though I am a child of technology, I must have been born early enough that I'm still very, very tactile. I like to have things printed out. I still like books over PDFs. I just like to have it in front of me. I like to be able to touch it, feel it, write on it. So I print these out. I write it down every day, what we're trading, my current price, my channel info, my support resistance levels, and I keep this. It serves as my trading journal, and it serves as my trading log. So it allows me to go back and make notes as to what was right, what was wrong, and learn from that as we move through our trades. All right, so let's kick it off. The Euro USD current price is 136.31. So the Euro USD All right, 36.31 is current price, and we see that down here. If you've got your chart trader software open, you see the trade magnifier down here. It shows you what your current price is and the countdown to the next candle, by the way. So that lets you know if you can go get a cup of coffee before you have to look for the next trade, right? All right, so 36.31, channel information. So now we're going to pop over and we're going to do have a few looks at our daily report. And channel information here. Whoops, that's not it. Let's close that one down. So our channel information, starting at the very top, very first one is the Euro USD. It's the most widely traded currency pair, so it's at the very top of the list. Tells us that we have a daily channel bottom at 35.98, and we have a channel top at 36.79. Now immediately, though, my eyes happen to see that we've got 33.29 down here at the bottom. They're lining up on a midterm and long-term level. So just make a note of that. Probably won't be a number that we see today, but if we do get down to 33.29 at some point, that should be a key level for us, and we'll want to definitely keep an eye out and potentially place a buy order down there if price does move down to that level, because that would be a great spot to look for a bounce, at least the first time when you're looking at a heavier channel level like that that's a weekly and monthly channel. But right now, for today, we're concerned with 35.98 and 36.79. Those are our top. That's our top and our bottom for the day. Next up is our channel and our support resistance information, and we're going to find that right down here. Support resistance numbers will tell us that we're currently trading 36.31. So below us we have support at 36.16, and below that we have support at 35.98, which is also that channel bottom. So 35.98. It's also right there at 3600, a big whole number. So you've got three things stacking up in our favor to make that a very significant level for support. To the upside, if we break back up stronger, we have 36.54 as resistance up there, 36.54, and then beyond that we have 36.91, and 36.91, 3700 area, so kind of a range there for the top level of resistance. All right, what's next? Well, now we want to flip back over to our charts, and we're going to find out, are we trending or are we oscillating for the day? What's going on today? Well, looks like we're oscillating. I think we would all agree that we're in an oscillating market. We chopped around for a bit, maybe, what's that, 15, 20 pip range right here during Asia? Yeah, 20 pip range. Broke out during Europe, came back, and now we're sitting, pretty much where we started today. Started the 24-hour trading session. So not much going on there. We're oscillating. In fact, we've only moved 45 pips. Big question for us, though. Have we broken our channel? Have we broken above 36.79, or have we broken below 35.98? Answer to both of those questions is no. Next up, average daily range. Well, average range for this pair, today we've moved 45 pips. Average range for the currency pair really is in that 80 pip range, 70 to 80 pip range. It's been a really low range. We've had some days where it moved a ton, but overall we've seen the euro very, very range bound for months now. It just has not done much. I mean, it has had moves, but it hasn't been moving into that 100 pip, 90 to 100, maybe a little over 100 that we were used to last year. Well, I say last year, 2012 coming into the early part of 2013. We hit that summertime blues, and really for the last 6 months, it's just been a much tighter channel than we would typically trade in with this euro. We're just saying a lot about world economies right now too. So average range, we're really about that 60 to 70 pip area. Today we've moved 45. All right. Next up, news. What news is on the horizon? Do we have any red level news that's coming up in the next few minutes that we should be aware of that would maybe keep us out of the marketplace? So we'll check Forex Factory for that. And we pop over here. Well, nope. We have a Canadian news coming out at 10. Some U.S. news, fairly low impact though. This Canadian news might impact us. but I don't expect it to have a huge impact. So I think we'll be okay here. So there is news at 10, but nothing that really overly concerns me here that would really throw things into a monkey wrench. If we had, some red level U.S. news or red level Euro news that was coming up at 10, I might step back and say, well, we'll look at some areas and we won't trade it until 10. But today, I feel good about placing some trades. There's really no news coming up that I would be too concerned about. So we'll put an in there for news. And the last thing that we should have a look at that I didn't pull up is our futures market. And what's the futures market doing? I like to use FinViz for this. FinViz is a great free resource at finviz.com. And then you go and you click on the Futures tab, and it gives us this great heads-up dashboard where we can see immediately what the sentiment is in the marketplace. Are we leaning more towards a strong futures market, which would equal a weak dollar, or are we leaning to a weak futures market, which would lend itself to a stronger dollar? And today it's mixed. So we scroll down. Hitting the wrong button. Scroll down here, and today we see pretty much just an even market. We're typically concerned, what's the Dow doing? What's crude doing? What are gold and silver doing? Well, Dow and crude are up, gold and silver are down. And, as a result, the dollar is kind of mixed. It's pretty much even right now. The reason we look at this, for those of you that are brand new with us, the reason we look here is because if we're typically, when we see money flowing into the Dow, into crude, into gold and silver, the dollar is weakening. We're taking liquid positions of dollars, we're putting them into futures, so it causes the dollar to weaken. If we're seeing money flowing out of these, so we're seeing money flowing out of the Dow, out of crude, out of gold and silver, out of futures in general, typically it's being held for liquidity in U.S. dollars, so the dollar strengthens. So that's the correlation we're looking for. Today on a mixed market, we're seeing it mixed, and there's really no great direction that we can take from this right away. Now, I say that, however, most of what we're seeing right now is electronic trading. The floor traders, the pit traders, come on here in about 15 minutes or so. So this might change in the next 15 minutes to half an hour. We might start getting some direction, but right now it's very, very mixed. So we have a very mixed futures market. So again, that just kind of tells us to be cautious, exercise caution when we see that. There's no real trend that we can jump on right away that would give us a good indicator. So we want to be a little bit cautious and err to the conservative side here. All right. So we've gathered a lot of data. Now that took us about 15 minutes. It's not always going to take you that long. I'm doing a lot of talking and explaining as we go through it. Typically, you can do each of these currency pairs in about 5 minutes. If you're doing 3 pairs, 15 minutes of your morning, do some quick analysis. But consistent, with following the steps here. Do some analysis, set up our trades, let the trade manager manage it for the once they're on and ready to go for the day. So let's go ahead and put on some trades now. We've gathered some information here for the euro. So now we can flip back over here to our charts and see, okay, what do we have to work with? Well, first off, we know that we have a channel top. Let's just scrunch this down a little bit here. We have a channel top at 36.79, so let's put that on here, 36.79, right about there. We have a channel bottom at 35.98, which is right here at a thermal grid. And we have support, we said right down here, 36.16. And we have some resistance at 36.54. We've actually got a thermal grid at 36.51, so we might favor that a little bit over it, but either way, kind of right there. So, we've got a couple of lines on our charts. We've got some thermal grids. Now, there is a thermal grid area here at 36.26 that was not on our report from Forex Joe, 36.26, and that looks actually like an area. If we're going to compress our channels a little bit more, we've got the levels that we had from the daily report. But if we want to take it a second level and really have a look at what's called a compressed channel, one more key area of support resistance would be right here. We see yesterday we broke through this area, came back, and we had its support through the day, broke through it. It had it as resistance, support, broke it, resistance, 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 broke through it, finally came back, pushed through, and now it's looking like it's setting up as support again for us. So this 36.26 is really kind of a decision point for us. What are we going to do? Are we going to be able to break through it on this next candle? So we've got, basically 15 minutes left. This candle just opened. So probably the best bet if we're going to trade off of this level is to see what's happening here. If this candle can't break through here, then we may look at playing a buy off of it. If it does break and close below, then we may look to sell off of this. We need to wait for this candle to close. Right now, because of the way this has been behaving, and because we do have kind of a mixed futures market, I would expect to have some more chop. So, we could feel fairly safe in going ahead if we want to get a kind of a scalp order on, is to go ahead and park a buy here. And I know that's a little bit counter to what we might be experiencing over the past few days, especially, we ran up to 3,800 and we've been on a downward trend since. Really, there's about 3,830 I think we went to over the holiday, and it's been kind of trending down since. But right now, if the Dow continues to push, then we may see a little bit of a weaker dollar over the course of the day. So, with that said, we could look to scalp and park a quick scalp order here and see if we can't grab some pips. What I'm going to do is just put here, I'll move to buy. So what I've done is I've moved my green line down to this 36.26, which is the this thermal grid that we've seen setting up as a significant area of both support and resistance. We've broken it. We're coming back. We're retesting it now, and we're going to keep this very, very tight. We're not going to have a 20 pip stop loss. We'll keep this pretty tight at about 8 pips or so, and then we'll do the same for grabbing some profit. We're going to look to see if we can get touched in here and get profit, pretty much around the top of this Asia high, and then if we break through that, then we'll look to get profit again at our second level of profit at 36.51. So we'd look for that. Now, where can we park some sells? We're going to look for sells on this. We'd like to see it push a little bit more. Where can we look for sells? Kind of a range-bound market so far today. Under current conditions, I would look here at this 36.51. This has been setting up at a pretty significant level for us. We've seen price move to it in reverse. Again, it's resistance area here. So if we do push up, we'd look for that to reverse off of it the first time it gets there, and see if we can't grab a few pips off of that one. Now, all I'm doing to set these trades up is I'm just grabbing the red lines to move my sell orders, my sell take profits, and my sell entry points, and then I'm moving my green lines for the buy orders. You can tell what it is if you hover over it. Typically, the thick green line or the thick red line is your entry point. The thin line is your stop loss, and then the others are your take profits. But if you hover over them, when you put your mouse on top of it, it'll tell you what it is. So that's a sell stop loss line. That's a take profit 1 on this. This is a take profit 2, TP2. So we're able to see what that is pretty easily just by moving over that. Now this is really playing this range. If we wanted to be more conservative on this sell and let it go a little bit higher, what we could look at here is the next level up, which is our channel top 36.79. That's actually probably a better play. I'm going to do that. I think that's a little better play. Just err on the conservative side here for the day. We're still kind of light volume, and we will be until we get through non-farm payroll. So I'm gonna second guess that, and I'm actually going to look here, 36.79. That's our channel top, and it is a bit more conservative for a sell, but we got a couple of things working for us. If we look top to bottom, and we look to here, we've been averaging about 70 pips on this currency pair. There's no major news today. There's no big drivers that would be going on. So if we did push to 36.79, which is our channel top, great spot to look for a reversal. So that would trump even this area. This has been setting up as a stronger area for us, and but this 36.79 would trump that a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and sell off of that. We're going to keep the same thought process. We're not going to go crazy with our risk here. We'll keep our risk tight. We'll keep our take profit tight, and then we'll look to stretch it out for take profit 2 if we can push all the way down to here. All right, so that's the euro. So that's what I'm trading. That's just going through gathering the data and my interpretation of Forex Joe's methodology. That's how that's what I'm going to trade based on that. So we'll do it again for the pound USD. We won't go quite as slow because there's not quite as much explanation required now. And then the last one we'll do is the US yen. All right, so the pound USD currently trading at 64.09. We have our channel information. Scroll down here to the next one. We have a channel top at 64.18 and a channel bottom at 63.22. Support resistance, well, we're at 64.09, pretty much right where we started yesterday. So what do we have? Well, we've got support below us at 63.90, then 63.70, and then take it one further out, 63.36. If we go to the upside, we've got 64.17, followed by 64.32, and then 64.69. All right. So we've got that on. Next up, are we trending or are we oscillating for the day? Well, again, just like with the euro, I think we can all agree that we're oscillating. We've moved down, we've moved up, and now we're back to where we started the 24-hour session, or right about the same place. So I think we can all agree that we're oscillating a bit for the day. Sorry, just moving my computer over a little bit. All right, so I think we can oscillating for the day. Next up is have we broken the channel? Have we broken above 64.18 or have we broken below 63.22? And the answer there is yes, we did. We did break above 64.18. In fact, we closed above it on a 15-minute, and then it's repelled off of that. But we have broken our channel. So yes, we have broken the channel. What's our average range on this? Well, today we've moved 61 pips, and this pair typically has been moving in the 80 to 90 pip range generally. Now, again, this is a currency pair that prior to slowing down for the summer was in that 100 to 110, 115 range. So it's also tightened up quite a bit. Now, we have had days where it's moved significantly, but overall it's just not moving quite as much top to bottom as it had in the past. So it's about 61 pips today and 80 on average, 75, 80, 90 pips on average. All right. News? Well, no, there's no news coming up. What's the futures market doing? It won't have changed too much in the last couple of minutes. Still pretty mixed would be my guess. Yep, still a mixed futures market. All right, so with that said, what are we going to do? Where are we going to place some trades? What do we see for opportunity here? Well, let's just put some lines in the chart real quickly. We know that we have 64.18 as a channel top here. There's also a thermal grid right there at that same level, 64.17 for the thermal grid. 64.18, come on. Drag for me, there it goes. All right, 64.18 right there. We've got 63.22 as our bottom. That's quite a ways down. We can put it on though. No reason to leave them out, right? 63.22 right down here, channel bottom. All right, but let's compress this a bit and look at the levels that are more consistent with where we're currently trading. So 64.17 was a support resistance number. 63.90 we have right down here from the daily report. We break that, we've got 63.70. And to the upside, 64.32. All right, right about here. All righty. All right, so what are we going to look at here? So can we compress this a bit more? Is there another area where we can compress this a bit more? And the answer there is yes. We've got that 6,300, 6,304 is Forex Joe's number. It's also a thermal grid number here. And we see, yeah, so yesterday price moved we saw this 6404 setting up as a pretty darn good level of support for us. Support, support, support. Over the course of the evening, it broke it, came back, retested it, retested it, retested it, broke it, and now we've tested it twice, maybe a third time here. So if we're going to look for a scalp, great spot to look for a scalp buy, right now under current conditions. And we want to keep an eye on this. If we're scalping, we don't just necessarily just leave it and run away, but we'll keep our eye on it. But right now, this is looking like a pretty nice level to do a quick scalp. See if we can get some quick pips on a retest of this area here. So I'm going to look to put this on. I'm going to move to buy. So I get my lines exactly where I'd want them to be, and then I just move to buy. And again, our software protects us. So once the order is on, we're in the marketplace, and it's just waiting. And at that point, we know what our maximum risk is. Our maximum risk is our entry point to our stop loss. So that's our max risk. That's all we would ever lose. We want to keep that tight. Our potential for gain here, though, is as we move up and we hit our stop, if we hit our first take profit, the software is going to automatically, when we hit take profit 1, it'll automatically move our stop loss to break even +1, which protects our trade and protects the other 2/3 of that trade. So we're peeling off a piece of the trade, and then we're protecting ourselves to ensure that even if it does reverse from that point and move back against us, that we don't lose money. We have a profitable trade. So we don't have to be in front of it. Once we do spend our time setting up and place our trades and find where we like to trade, we can set this as long as our computer is on and running. We can walk away, go have some breakfast, spend some time with our family, our family or our friends or whatever it might be, and and the computer will manage it for us to ensure that our trades are profitable if we do, or I should say when we do, move up and take profit. All right, so there's that one. What are we going to look for a potential sell? Do we want to even look for a potential sell today? And I'd say why not? Might as well bracket one in. We're at the top here, 64.18, breaking through the top. Kind of tough. Let's see. It's not a number on Forex Joe's report. Is it 64.69? We have a thermal grid at 64.66. So we have a level up here, and that's about 100 pips. If we did get to this level, this would be a great spot to look for a reversal. Now, that's fairly conservative, but this would be a good spot to look for a reversal if it does push that high for the day. Average range has told us that it probably won't quite get there today. We're in that 80 plus pip range. This is about 88, 90 pips top to bottom. So, but if we did push there, this is a great spot to look for a reversal, at least the first time it tested it. Now, does that mean it's going to stop there? No, absolutely not. I mean, just because a pair typically moves 75 pips doesn't mean it's always going to move 75 pips. It gets an average of 75 by sometimes moving 50 and sometimes moving 150. That's our average though. So typically, if it did get there, more times than not, we would expect it to reverse. And that's all we're doing is trading. We're trying to give ourselves an edge. Does it mean that every time we're going to have a winning trade? Absolutely not. But we just want to give ourselves an edge so that we can have, over time, our winners will outweigh our losers. So once we get that set where we'd like it to be, we just simply click, move to sell. We double click it. Just got this line a little bit too close. It's not letting me select it. So we just grab our move to sell line here, and then we move it, and voila, in just a moment it will click in, and now we have a pending order waiting for price to move to that level. And when it gets there, if it gets there, we'll see how that one needs to be managed. All right, so last one, then I'll turn it over to Forex Joe. We'll go a little bit more quickly on the U.S. yen. U.S. yen currently trading at 104.50. 104.50 on the U.S. yen. Survey says the channel information is. I think I passed it. Yeah, I passed it. All right. Channel information. Well, we've got a channel bottom. at 104.05, not to be confused with 104.50, 104.05, and we have a channel top at 104.57. Now this channel bottom, something to note here, this is a 3 of 3 channel. This is big. This is lining up on a short-term, mid-term, and long-term level. So let's put a star by that, 104.05, big number for us. All right, next up, support resistance. Well, we're currently trading at 104.50. So what do we have? Well, below us we have support at 104.42, and below that 103.90. Above us 104.67, and then above that 105.21. All right. Are we trending or oscillating for this currency pair? What's happening? Well, let's see. Looks to me like we're in a bit of an upward trend for the day. Just slight. I mean, I guess more than anything, it's really oscillating, isn't it? We opened here. It's just moved a little bit. We've moved up. We've moved down. We've kind of moved back slightly above where we were. So, yeah, kind of lackluster, isn't it? Yes, that's more of an oscillator than anything. The big thing, though, is have we broken the channel? That's always our biggest question. Have we broken above 104.57? Have we broken below 104.05? The answer there really is no, and we did break it. You know, we tested it. I guess we dipped our toe in, but immediately was rejected. Same again here. We pushed it, and then it was immediately rejected. So, nope. Average range. What's going on here for average range? Well, today we've moved 44 pips. Typically, this currency pair has been moving about 60 to 70 pips, which is low. I mean, again, this was a currency pair that was a bigger mover over the course of 2012 and then into 2013, and then really slowed down and never came out of the summertime blues. I mean, nothing came out of the summertime blues. It was a really odd end of our year, a very odd fourth quarter last year. Very odd. Unlike the Seminoles Auburn game last night, which was probably the most exciting fourth quarter in history. For those of you that watched it. Let's see. So there we are. We got news. We know that there's no news coming up. And then lastly, what's going on in the futures market? Well, floor traders just came on. They just rang the bell. What's going on over there? Probably not too much yet. Having a look over here. Looks like we might be seeing a little bit of a move here. Slight, still very mixed. Very mixed market. So Dow and crude, Dow is slightly up. Well, I shouldn't say slightly. The Dow is up. Crude is slightly down. Gold and silver are slightly down. So that's they're not moving in tandem with one another. That's they're moving in reverse, and that's just telling us again, be cautious. If we're not seeing everything in agreement, let's just be cautious. There's no reason to push it. We can be conservative on our trades and still make pips. And if the worst case scenario is we don't our trade doesn't trigger, then that's fine too. It's okay to err on the side of conservation. All right, so what are we going to do with this? Well, let's see. We've got 104.57. We know that's been a big number for us. That's our channel top. We've got 104.05 down here is our channel bottom. So what are we going to do with this? We've also got our support resistance levels. We've got them at 102. 102. That'd be something else. 104.42. Where is that? It's not even a thermal grid. That one's up here a bit. 104.42, probably about here. Oh, there we go. 104.42. 104.67. If we break through there, 104.67, right about there. All right. Well, so here we have this 104.42 is a nice, interesting number. We see it yesterday during Asia. We were seeing some resistance there. Broke. It never really came back to retest it, though. It came back, broke through it, came back towards it, but never got back to retest it. Then over the course of Asia, again, this was setting up as it's really shown to be. It was a resistance level, then it was a support level, support, broke it, it hovered here, and now we've broken back above. So if I were going to look for a buy, I'd come back and look for a buy down here at this 104.42 area. So let's go ahead and put that on. We're going to grab our thick green line. We're going to move that down here, 104.42. We may have missed this trade, but that's okay. Like I said, a worst case scenario, if your worst case scenario is that you put on a trade that doesn't trigger, then it's all right. So here we'll put this one on right here. We'll keep our stop loss pretty darn tight. And we're going to move to buy. Now, the next section is the, oops, it's already on. All right, so the next one now. Here we have our next little quandary is where do we place our sell? Do we want to place a sell? And if we do want to place a sell, where are we going to put it? Now again, we've seen price move right to this 104.57 in reverse. It did it here, it blinked to here in reverse, and now it's approaching it again. Do we look to try to just scalp real quickly in this very tight range? Yeah, oops, grabbed the wrong button there. Let's try this again. And sure, we could certainly do that. I mean, it's definitely counter to what our overall trend is on this pair, but nothing moves straight up or straight down. It's stairs, and sometimes it's more like waves, right? It ebbs and flows. So we've seen this really setting up as a significant level of resistance for us. So first time it pushes here, we would expect to see a bounce. Does it mean it absolutely will? No. There's no absolutes, but just plain probabilities is we would see this look to reverse off of this the first time it gets there, and we're just going to try to grab a few pips. We're keeping our stop loss very, very tight, and we're keeping our take profit tight as well. All right, so there you have it. That's how we utilize Forex Joe's methodology along with the daily trading regimen and the daily report. So from here, I'll turn it over to Forex Joe and see what he has to allow for us. It looks like we got some pips on that euro trade. So that one moved up, got us in here, got some pips for us on take profit 1, and we've still got 4 pips on the table, but it's coming back. We can see that our stop loss moved and locked in our profit. So now we're here at break even plus 1, so we have no risk on this trade at all. All right, Forex Joe, anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up for the day?
All right, is my mic alive now?
You're alive. There you are. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I was talking, but for some reason my mic wasn't on. I had it muted. Sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. Hope you read the report. We got a lot of news events coming up here over the next several days. Of course, we've got the ADP report tomorrow. We've got the Bank of England, and then, of course, the ECB plus their press conference here on Thursday leading into non-farm payroll. So I'm going to look for it to try to stay range-bound for today. If you're scalping or day trading, I'd stay within those parameters. If you are swing trading, pay attention to the reports that I'm sending out of what the current ranges are under current market conditions here for Monday, and then again today as your breakout areas. I'll be sending out another report on Thursday to the roundtable members as a precursor going into Friday's non-farm payroll report. And we're kind of looking for some jump start here. The stock markets have started kind of slow. It was kind of interesting. We had gold dropped about $30 in just a short period of time yesterday. And we're kind of looking for everything to just kind of slow down to a crawl here after the London session closes today as we get ready for the ADP report again tomorrow, then leading into the two big central banks on Thursday and then the non-farm payroll. I had a couple of questions here talking about what kind of number we're looking at here for non-farm payroll. I'll have more of that information here, but kind of just a Reader's Digest version. As long as the non-farm payroll is right close to 200,000, then I don't think we'll see much of an eruption. But if we do get over 200,000, and that might be a possibility up to 220 with the seasonal hiring, of course, with the holidays, or if it's below 180, then that could be a jump start to cause some movement. But I think the big key will be exactly what's going to happen here with the ECB and then their conference with Draghi afterwards, and then what happens here with what Carney says here at the Bank of England. I think that'll be more of a precursor for movement. So just kind of stay in the parameters. Let's get ready. We'll get going as far as this week with the news, and then leading into our review and preview for next week. I was talking to Brian yesterday. I had about 50 pages for this review preview webinar that we're going to be doing next week. I got to tone that down to about 30 to 35 minutes. We'll also have predictions and everything that we think will happen here in 2014. We had a really good year in 2013 in that capacity, and looking for more of the same. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep it short and get everybody back on track here. Congratulations to Brian on this trade here. I would say that unless you're going to lower your take profit 1, take profit 2, if you can get 10 or 15 pips out of some of these pairs today, just grab it. Of course, the main pairs that are moving continues to be the yen crosses. So those of you that are looking at the euro yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, I talk about that in the reports of what I think is going to happen with those here. So those are going to be probably bigger movers. And then we'll look for the pound dollar and the euro dollar to move here in the next couple of days. I'm not seeing any questions, but if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Other than that, Brian, I'll turn it back over to you. We'll be cognizant of everybody's time, and we'll be quick but not hurry and get out of here. And know you got to get swimming before too long, and it's about 80 degrees down where you're at. We're sitting here suffering. It's a brisk 19 degrees, and those of you that are up north in the below zero, God bless each and every one of you here in the United States. Back to you, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Forex Joe. Yeah, so that's it, guys. For me, as always, kind of my marching orders is I put these trades on. If they don't execute prior to London closing, I just shut them down. I don't leave them on for long periods. So we'll just let those trades go, leave them on, let them go, and we'll see how they play out for the remainder of the day. All right. So we'll be back here again on Thursday. We're here Thursday for our morning class, and then again on Friday as well. So you get a few classes this week with us. So I look forward to seeing you in the next class, and we'll talk to you all soon. Have a great one.